Welcome back if you're returning, welcome if you're new. Today's video is a thrift haul, and then this is what I like to do. This is my bliss, flipping my thrifted items. So I'd had a couple of places that I'd been, picked up a couple of different items, but most of it is stuff that I think I'm going to resell. It was only one bookend, but it caught my eye because it just looks so vintage. I thought it'd be great in the library. It is resin, but I think it's got that look of natural, either iron or copper, that's aged over time. So I picked that up. That was $1. This little picture was $1. It wasn't in very good condition, but I really love the picture and the colours. They're so muted, they're just beautiful. So I picked that up, and that was also $1. This table, I've had a run in with tables just recently. I just seem to have a lot of them. This was $5, and I have a great idea for this one. I think I'm going to be selling this one. This was a great find. You just don't see these, especially in this style. Little corner shelves. This one's just lovely. It needs a really good clean, and I've got the perfect spot for this. It's something that I've been looking for quite a while. This was, I believe, $4. This little box, it was a jewellery box. I saw this and I thought I just wanted to make it over with that lovely paper, the French country paper that I'd done one of my little tray tables in. So I picked that up, and I think this was $2. Now, you could absolutely use this as a jewellery box, but I thought on somebody's dressing table or bedside table, it's just so handy. It's got the little mirror in the back and the little drawers, and I just thought, in the right setting, it doesn't have to be full of jewellery. To be honest, I don't know who use jewellery boxes anymore, but I thought that would be a good little makeover. I decided to pick up some little picture frames. These are a little bit more contemporary than I usually do, but they were really decent ones, and they were in good condition, and they were $1 each. And this one caught my eye because it had little hooks on it, and I thought this would look great upstairs hallway. I do want to put more William Morris prints up in there. This was a great find. This was, I think, $7. This little tray comes off the top, and it's a little drinks cabinet with a wine rack on it. And as soon as I saw this, I knew what I wanted to do with it immediately. So I snapped that one up. It needed a little bit of tightening up in spaces, and it obviously needed a good clean up, but that's going to be a great makeover. So the first thrift haul was my local thrift shop. This is from Value Village. This I saw from the distance. It was $11. It is a king size quilt set cover, and I thought of it as curtains in the new French property in one of the bedrooms in the main house. I thought it'd be lovely. I always pick up these net curtains. They're lace curtains from IKEA. I think it was $5. And then there's a panel here which is not quite curtain material. It's quite gauzy, and it's toile, and I've never seen anything like that, and that was $6, I believe. Yeah, $5.99. Then I picked up this office chair, $16.99. This is solid wood. It is beautiful. It's so well made. It's just worn in all lovely places, and the wheels are great on it. My office chair is not brilliant. The wheels aren't great, so I picked that up. So this is the French country box. I knew what I wanted to do with this. So I gave it a really good sanding. I needed to get rid of the print because I wanted to decoupage with this lovely French paper. I call it my French paper. It screams French country, this paper does. So once I'd got the Mod Podge on, I didn't want any of the print coming through the paperwork. So I cut the panels for both sides, and then I moved on to the front. So again, decoupage all the areas that we want the paper to stick to. Then I placed the paper on top, and then once it was nice and firmly in place, I went back over it with a knife blade just to cut in through the doors, the drawers, around the hinges, and then it was ready to have the handles put on. So the original handles were on little dowels. The holes didn't go all the way through the door, so I drilled in the holes so that I could fit the screws in from the back and put the little knobs on so that all the doors handles matched. And here's the completed French country box. You can see I did the inside of the doors because you could see the screws, and I didn't want to see the screw head, so I just decoupaged the inside of the door as well. And the door handles are level, it's just the way it looks from the angle that you're looking at. So onto the drinks rack now. I've got to be honest, I've done a few of these over the years. This one turned out quite nice. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. I had to give it a really good sanding, and I was going to leave it, but then I gave it a quick coat of green paint on the legs, and the side panels of the tray area. I then went on with the Mod Podge and decoupaged it with this lovely green leafy paper that I picked up a few weeks ago in a thrift haul for 50 cents. And then once that was done, I used the gold leaf adhesive, waited 20 minutes and then added the gold leaf. I added it on the rim of the tray, on the front of a couple of shelves and on the legs, and you can see this is how it turned out. I liked the wood and the green. I thought it looked really nice together, and then with that pop of gold, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. This little drinks rack I think is perfect for an apartment or a small living room. It doesn't take up a load of room. It's got enough room for your bottles and some glasses, and then you make your drinks and serve them on from the tray. It's really quite handy, and it doesn't take up a heck of a lot of space. Now I gave this a coating of the waterproof Mod Podge that is food safe, but I was thinking I could coat it with not so much the tray but the rest of it with something that was waterproof, and I could put wheels on the bottom and wheel it around my backyard for the summer. I think it would be just perfect, on the patio. So I knew I wanted to make a floral top for this table. I gave it a really good sanding to take at least the top layer off so that it would adhere to it. And then I went to the dollar store and found these peel and stick. They're paper, and I wanted to see, well, hopefully they'll stick permanently on the top of the table because it's been sanded. So I thought I'll combine all 4 of them. There were 2 sheets in each packet, and then cover it with the words on top. Once it was done, I went over it with a thick layer of the waterproof food safe Mod Podge once again, and it gives it a nice, seals everything in and gives it a nice glossy finish. I had been trying to get the like I said, I was looking for the transfers, but very, very few shops here in Canada, especially in my area, sell them. I can get them online, but it takes ages for them to come. So I'm going to have to try and find a little place that I can get those, almost like the IODs, but we just don't have them here. So I'm going to, it turned out great. I'm really pleased with it, especially with the lettering across the front. So it's not quite what I had in mind, but it's not far from what I had in mind, so I'm pleased with how this turned out. So as I said, these little picture frames were not my usual style. I usually go for something more ornate, but like I said, they were brand new, and I thought I'd try them with just the gold leaf. So the smaller one, I used the gold leaf glue, waited 20 minutes and did one in gold leaf. You can see I've just put it on, and then you just rub it off with a soft cloth or a brush. I don't do this perfectly because it's not a perfect craft. I like it to look a little bit uneven and messy. The second one I did with silver leaf, and really love the way this turned out. Again, I think it's because of the black frame, and this is the one that has the little hooks on top. So once it was done, I knew I was going to be hanging it with a piece of ribbon. I also wanted to use up the rest of my William Morris scrapbook papers. I'd bought these a while ago. As you all know, if you've watched me before, I'm a bit of a nut for William Morris. I've always had something in the house that was came from that era. So a lot of them I have up already in the hallway from when I redid that, but I really wanted to use the rest of these, and I just don't see the kind of frames that I used to see around. So I'm kind of making do with what I find now. If I find a decent quality frame, I'm going to adapt it and then just use them all on the William Morris wall. So I've gone through the ones I've wanted to try and find which will fit best in these little frames. I knew I wanted the blue and white in the silver frame, so I left the matte on it and did that one, and then we'll come back to those and see those in a minute. I also reused this one. This was in a bit of a state. Peeled off the back, pulled it all apart, and used a bit of the orange. I like the orange print, the William Morris print, but I find it's hard with the frames, so I used this old frame that was sort of in the same tones and found this in the back. I thought that was really cool. I'd framed that myself actually, and it's from an old box. It looks to me as if it's from the 50s, but that was what was in the back of the picture frame. So I put everything back together, and rather than taping it up this time, I picked up some little nails that came in a picture hanging set. So I used those. You can use them in the original holes. I find they go in and you just hammer them in yourself, and it just holds everything in place. So here is the finished wall. Well, it's not finished, it's a work in progress. These are the new prints that I've put on, and you can see all the original prints are still there on the wall. I'm definitely going to be looking for different picture frames now and just go with it. You know, I don't need everything the same, and go with all the different sizes. And this is the silver one. I love this one, how it turned out. I love this blue and white print, it's beautiful. And so I shall try and fill this wall out as much as I can over the next few weeks. You can see how this picks up the orange in the frame. I think it's a lovely addition to the wall. And there's the gold with the blue. I think I might change that picture out. I don't think it goes as well, but with the rest of the walls, if you remember, this wallpaper was in my dining room at the last house, and these were the curtains. There's a little bit of material from the William Morris curtains. So here we have that little picture. Now I did have to do some repairs on this. I took the back off. There was a lot of loose tape. I replaced the little nails, secured the picture in, gave it a good clean, so that turned out nicely. Then I have my chair, my office chair, in its place. It's such a lovely old piece. It's lovely. It's so worn. I just imagine it being in somebody's office somewhere. You know, it's been there for years, and it just feels lovely to have it in my home. Then I have this little corner shelf. I've been looking for something for ages to put on my desk so that I can give myself more desk area, but you know, I've still got things, decorative things on my desk, so this works out so pretty. And there's a picture right at eye level of my brother and I when we were little, and my mum and my granny, so that's lovely to have on the desk. Well, spring has arrived in Canada and it's 30 degrees. We don't have a spring, we go straight to summer. I've had this little copper container for about 3 or 4 years. I picked it up, I think it was at a garage sale. I could have been thrifting, but I remember it being really, really cheap. I've used the flowers over and over again from it, and I had a nice little display in my garden last summer, and it unfortunately got left out over the winter. Having said that, the only thing that was unfortunate is this foam thing got really soaked and waterlogged, so I had to get rid of that out of the bottom. But it did give a lovely patina to the copper. It's a lovely old container. I've got a few of these around, so I got all the crap out of the bottom, gave it a good clean, and I'm going to use it in my kitchen. So I've got these little pebbles that I picked up from the dollar store, 2 bags of them, and they were $1 each, and I'm putting those in the bottom as drainage. Like I said, I don't want to drill holes in the bottom of this container. It's too nice, it's too old, so as long as they don't overwater, these pebbles should just be enough for the drainage. I then got some potting soil and filled it up. Now the potting soil was already soaking wet, so I'm not going to have to water anything that I put in there for a while. I have been looking to put some little seedlings in here, but unfortunately I just didn't find any during the last couple of weeks. Because it's so early in the season, a lot of the garden centres just haven't got their stuff out yet. It's been particularly warm. As I said, in Ontario it's been 30 degrees the last 3 days. So by this weekend I can imagine all the garden centres, and especially the little place that we go to, will have everything out and ready to go. So I got some little seed packets. I'm going to put some coriander or cilantro in this particular pot because that's something we use a lot. And then I'm going to plant up some other lovely little copper pots and pots that I've got with various herbs, and keep them in the little window. I call it the greenhouse window in the kitchen. It is so full of sun all the time. It gets so hot, it's fantastic. I'll plant the rest in the garden and in little pots, and then replant them. I like plants. I like plants in pots, and especially because it's not our garden. It's great because you can move them around and take them with you when you go. I've planted half of the packet in here. I've been quite liberal with it because you know what it's like only half of them are going to germinate probably, but that's beside the point. So I've put them just on the surface and then covered them with another layer of soil. And like I said, I'm not going to water them because this soil is so wet already. And off to the window it goes to hopefully start. My little coriander plants will be up, well, within a week hopefully. So I'm just waiting now to start off some other little pots. Here's the one I just made, and it's in the little window. It's just so warm, perfect in there. I'm going to fill that up with plants for the summertime. So I've had some news from France. We've had a very busy week with paperwork and translating everything. It looks as though we will be there the second week, hopefully, of June, and I'll let you know more as I find out. So fingers crossed for the second week of June.